Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Rian Hobson. And I do apologize for the last few days of not being here. Just have a few problems with my internet connection. But I'm back and we're doing actually the Chinese crackdown and then also the FOMC meeting that will be later at 8 o'clock. But before I go there, please subscribe for my YouTube page and please leave your comments so that I can answer them because the market went nuts in the last few days with the Chinese crackdown. Now, also, you could have felt it all over, like you could have seen it in Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, for those of you who like the FX market. You could have seen it in the South African rand on Monday. The rand was trading actually very terribly against all major currencies. And that is all to do with the Chinese crackdown. Now, there is quite a lot of uncertainty that still goes on with this whole Chinese crackdown. The whole thing started, I suspect the whole thing started when a company went for its IPO on the Chinese Communist anniversary, Communist Party's anniversary. And that for me is where all the hell broke loose. And then the Chinese was actually forced down on all the big companies, like companies, for example, look, they didn't miss any sector. The education sector was one. Two was the property market, food delivery service, internet activity, and then your education. And you could see it actually in Naspers in South Africa, where it was down for the last few days. You could see it in Tencent, which is a partner of actually of Naspers. And Naspers is about 25% of South African stock. So there's quite a lot of weight that goes in there. And that was down. Look, Alibaba was down. If I can look at it, Tencent were down by 19% year on year. And also Alibaba were down by 25%. And then the whole entire Chinese market were actually down for this whole entire week for about 10%. And I see actually the blood was flowing in actually in the Chinese or the Asian market. Now, this is all to do with the Chinese crackdown of the Chinese Communist Party that was actually cracking down on big companies. And that causes actually uncertainty because what will follow afterwards is new regulation. And that makes it a bit scary because what will this regulation be? And that is why a lot of traders are not buying the dip because they are not sure what will be the regulations of the Chinese government of what they will impose onto these big companies. And basically, you could see it all over Australia, South Africa, and that was one of the main reasons why the rand actually tanked on Monday. And it's slightly a bit recovering. I can see today there's quite a lot of companies that are coming back, or the share market is coming back, and even the FX market and commodity markets were coming back today. But there's still a lot of uncertainty and a lot of traders were actually ducking and diving and went into safety. And that is where the bond market were picking up. And also the dollar was also picking up against all major currencies because of this Chinese crackdown. For how long will it take? For how long will this persist? That is actually the big question mark. We are not basically sure because, they can start at any given time. And then it comes with the regulation that goes with it. So it actually poses quite a lot of risk. And then on top of that, there is the Delta variant that is also now actually imposing a risk, not just for Australia and New Zealand, but also now it's creeping into the United States. And then we have the FOMC meeting tonight with the Delta variant. And then on top of that, they need to make will they persist with a dovish tone? That is actually a big question mark. I'm just getting actually a question here. Good day. So what's your take with the direction of the US market for the FOMC statement? Will bring a pullback to the major indexes? And can be tapering be on board? That is actually a very good question. I think that the Federal Reserve will be actually dovish tonight. Because there's quite a lot of risks that still go on. You have the new Delta variant that is actually running a bit wild in the United States, and late in this year, I think because it goes into winter for the Northern Hemisphere, so there is that risk that goes with it. Personally, I think it's much safer for the Federal Reserve not to tighten up and be dovish. because of the risk that still goes on. So I think personally for tonight, the Federal Reserve will be dovish. They will keep the same tone of that they're talking about a tapering. They were maybe looking at interest rate hike, and they will just be, but mainly they will be dovish. And I think personally that will give actually the stocks, and especially the Dow and the Nasdaq, a high possibility that that might go up because of that dovish tone that the Federal Reserve will actually push through tonight. So please be on the lookout for the FOMC, because it's a statement and there's a conference at 8:30 that will happen South African time tonight. So I think it's going to be dovish, and I think that might give the lift for the stocks in the United States. And I think that is what the market is actually looking at today after the whole Chinese crackdown. So please be on the lookout, and thanks a lot for your message or your comment. So basically, with the whole tapering theory, they did talk about that in June this year, where they say they're talking about tapering and that inflation is transitory. So they will keep the same tone. So that will be nothing new, unless they change their words for tonight. Then we might see a movement in the basically across the market, whether it's the currency market with the US dollar or the stock market. But I honestly doubt they will actually change their language tonight. And as I just said, for them, it is much safer to not to tighten up, because then you might face problems later this year, because that is a story now in Australia. Although Australia's inflation actually went up year on year with 3.8%, the problem that everybody's asking now, did Australia tighten up too early? Even New Zealand, did they tighten up too early? Because the new variant is there now and is actually posed a risk. And also this morning, the Prime Minister of Australia, he actually injected money for the citizens, or increased the payout, I think, from 600 Australian dollars to 750 Australian dollars. And that's why they're asking the question, did he tighten up too early, or did the Central Bank of Australia tighten up too early, because the risk of the new variant is there? So it is actually a very sensitive story for Jerome Powell tonight, because he needs to make a decision tonight. Will he talk about tapering, or will he just keep on saying that they talk about tapering, or will he actually start to taper? On the other side, there is also risk to the United States. For example, you would see the durable goods. The last time durable goods were high was in August, and since then, last year, and since then, it's been going down. Although the US consumer was actually, that news came out strong, but the main thing is that is more to do with it's summer and everybody's traveling. The main thing on the durable goods, on the manufacturing goods, even on the payrolls, it shows that there is a bit of stress. Even in the new housing market, there is also a lot of stress. So I honestly think he will have a dovish tone tonight, sticks to the script. Although journalists will bombard him tonight, but I think he will stick to the script and will become dovish, and that is where we might see the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones will go up, and we might see a weaker United States dollar. I'm actually, as I said, I'm actually up with Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, but my account is seeing red as it is now because of the Chinese crackdown. So I honestly hope that Jerome Powell is dovish tonight, so that can actually help my trades to go into the green tonight. So all the best with tonight. As I said, I think Jerome Powell will be dovish tonight, but we will see later on. But that is it from my side. Please do subscribe for my YouTube channel, and also when I'm on again, please, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, please leave your comments so that I can answer them. And thanks a lot for the comment, Jonathan. Bye-bye, and I will see you guys tomorrow.